Hello, sweet souls. It's DTO. Welcome to my podcast. And this is a series that we've been recording to feature presenters, healers, teachers at the Sun Valley Joy Summit that is happening this summer in Ketchum, Idaho. And today I get to interview Shay. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, especially in your setting. You can feel the energy, the creative spirit. Many people know I'm a producer, musician. So for me, this artistic expression and having, as you can see behind me, I'm in my studio, you're in your studio, and it's also an incubator for creativity. All right. And this is a 5Q interview. So let's kick it off with question number one. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you'll be sharing at the Sun Valley Joy Summit.
Yeah. So I am an artist born and raised in Idaho. I grew up on a potato farm just 2 hours south of Ketchum. And so I always had kind of open spaces, nature as my inspiration. I grew up on a farm, so I grew up playing in the mud. So it's kind of a natural translation to have this kind of whimsical childhood of outdoors, very in the earth, to becoming a ceramic artist. Yeah, so I'm in my studio, and the pots that you see behind me, those are all student pieces. I'm a teacher as well, and a painter. So I also host lots of figure drawing classes for my community, and it's all been an evolution that has been based in joy. It became very evident to me in my life that creativity was one of my top values, and um, kind of navigating the uncertainty of being a full-time artist um, was always easy to overcome because whenever I'm in my element, in my studio, working with materials like especially clay, I just feel so at peace at home and joyful. So that is kind of always been my main motivating reason to continue is this feels good. This makes me feel like I'm living a fulfilling life, and it's also bringing joy to others, which has kind of been the cool. Um, what do you say? It's been a tributary to this river of creativity. Is other people getting to join in this creative path with me, and that's where teaching is so important to me, and also doing this jewelry design with people. It's kind of getting to get out of the isolation of your studio and join in with others in community. And yeah, so I think that's a little bit about me. Besides ceramic work, um, I am a painter, so I do a lot of painting, like abstract and landscape, and with people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm, amazing. And since we're talking about the workshop, I'm going to share Clay by Shay jewelry design. You'll be leading on Saturday the 14th, and that is in June from 3:30 to 5:30. And I love the intention here is to unleash your creativity at our jewelry design workshop, where you'll craft a one of a kind piece using handmade ceramic charms from Clay by Shay Jewelry. Lovely. And you can see the photo of a necklace that you created. Fantastic.
Mhm.
Okay. So, question number two is what inspired you to start creating ceramic jewelry, and how does your process differ from other jewelry making techniques?
Great. Yeah. So ceramic jewelry, it's kind of funny, like as a potter, and you'll hear this, people start by making big pots, and eventually you'll be making pots the size of yourself. And that's kind of where I was at when I decided to pivot and start making tiny ceramics that were wearable. I was making like 6 foot by 5 foot sculptures out of clay when I was attending art school, and And returning to my studio in Idaho, I went to art school in Rhode Island. I got to go away a bit and gather inspiration, kind of like that hero's journey where you leave your home and you go and you acquire all of these insights and wisdoms, and you come back to share with your home again. It's kind of like a full circle moment of returning to Idaho. And when I did return to Idaho, I decided that I wanted to try something different. I was making a lot of functional pottery, like I still do, dish sets, vases, etc. But for my graduation ceremony, we were given the challenge to wear your art form on the stage of graduating from art school. I went to the Rhode Island School of Design, and I found this special wire that can be fired up really high and like 2,400 degrees and Fahrenheit. So I found this wire and I started sticking it into little bits of clay, making these tiny, almost little sculptures that I could hang off of my graduation cap. And when I was doing that, I was like, oh, this would be a really cute earring. So I made matching earrings and a necklace, and it was very in its initial stage. So it was kind of clunky and not what one would want to wear for many hours because it was very heavy. Then I realized that I could make jewelry that was super lightweight by working with the clay very thin and consistent, and by developing my own clay body. So I'm kind of a nerd. I could get into the science of this for a long time. But I started making jewelry when I got back to Idaho in 2018. And I was living in Banks, Idaho at the time, and I was surrounded by river lovers. And so all the jewelry prototypes that I was starting with, people were wearing into the river because this material, ceramic, is waterproof and you don't ever have to take it off. So I was making a lot of jewelry that I would call like adventure proof, because the best kayakers, whitewater kayakers in the world, were wearing my jewelry down class 5 rapids. And when you're going down a class 5 rapid, you're really risking your life. Uh, the class system of rivers, if you're not familiar, 1 being kind of flat water, 5 being if you swim, you could die, most likely. They were wearing my pieces down these rivers and telling me that they were their good luck charms. So people were really bonding with these pieces that I was creating and wearing them all the time. And I would always get feedback like, oh, Shay, I love your earrings. I wear them nonstop. I wear them kayaking. I wear them surfing. I wear them hiking. I just can't take them off. They're my good luck charms. So yeah, that kind of validation of like, oh, this experiment of making tiny ceramics has become this process that I just love, and it connects me to people so much more. I mean, when you make a cup and it becomes your favorite morning coffee cup, you really bond with it. And often when you break it, you ask the potter to repair it. I get those questions all the time. But there's really no repairing a mug, to be honest, besides using epoxy, which is kind of a toxic glue you're not supposed to really drink off of. But with the jewelry, it's adventure proof. It's so easy to repair and it rarely breaks because it's so strong. Like the material at this scale is just nearly indestructible. So it's been kind of cool to use this as the medium for jewelry making because not many people are doing this. It's you see a lot of polymer clay jewelry, and I could talk about that a little bit later. But it's the polymer clay and is super lightweight because it's plastic. And when people think ceramic jewelry, they think, oh, it must be heavy because mugs are heavy or like it's just a really dense material. But I've been really trying to defy that over the years, and I think I've done the science and the testing, and have come to the conclusion that I've found the perfect process for making lightweight and adventure-proof jewelry that's like made to last.
Amazing. That's important, right? Like
Yeah.
multi-use, multi-purpose. And I
Mhm.
love your story about the coffee mug because it's absolutely that relationship that we all have because it's like, ooh, that, brings a memory. There's emotions to it. Or especially if someone went to your workshop and they make their own piece, it's like, oh, the memories of being in community and connecting, or if they know you personally and it's a custom piece. Um, that's awesome, especially if they're surfing with it, right? I was like, oh, that's cool.
Absolutely. The necklace I'm wearing right now, I call it the low tide rosary. Pray for waves is kind of what we say because I designed this piece for my brother who's a surfer and he lives all over the world, but he never takes it off. He surfs in it constantly and he's worn it for 2 years.
uh, Big Wave Dave. That's what they used to call me back in the day. Now they call me DTO. Oh, I love that. Amazing. Okay, well, question number three is your workshop allows participants to design their own unique pieces. So feel free to share the box that you have of different choices that people can make when they attend your workshop. And so, how do you guide them in finding their personal creative expression? And it is really awesome that they get to probably make an energetic connection, right? Like, what really is vibing with them and how they can then create something unique.
Yes. So this is one of the trays that I have, and I'm it will spill, but it's an old printer press tray. And each one of these components um, are like they're organized by color, by shape, and also by how they connect to and one another. So at the event, I'll be bringing probably 3 of these trays full of charms that we've been making over the last 8 years. Let me set this down. Um, but essentially, when I do a jewelry design workshop, um, I like I start by letting people know that that there is no right and there is no wrong. Um, in the process of making this jewelry piece. And I really encourage people to make asymmetrical things or to really not be afraid to like use color and funky shapes and make something that, you can't find anywhere. I find that some people will come into a workshop and they'll have a limitation, like I only wear green. And it's always interesting to watch that expectation melt away as they like find a terracotta that really complements the green or like the sage tone that also looks really good with that like forest leaf color. And it kind of expands what they will allow themselves to adorn themselves with. And I like watching that process unfold and guiding people. Because with the ceramic jewelry, there's so many colors that you can have as opposed to wearing just simple gold or silver. Um, so people really get enamored with the trays, and it's so tactile and has so many textures, like the earthenware or the painted. We paint just the tops of the earthenware, or we stain the porcelain clay all the way through. So everything has its own vibration in a way. Some mostly satin matte, but some of them are glazed, so there's a little bit of a gloss here and there. But um, at the workshop, people will be able to make um, a custom piece, whether that's earrings or a certain kind of necklace or a bracelet. We'll have all the options available since some people don't like dangly earrings, so the bracelet option's great or a necklace option. And yeah, people can get lost in indecision, but usually there's this moment where they're just like, "That's it, that's me." And after we get to that point, when I help them assemble it, and they get to take it home. Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic. And that interconnectivity with community, as well as, yeah, breaking through their own personal stories and their barriers about, oh, I only can wear this color. Like, check out the color shirt I picked out. for the podcast, right? Like in the
Yeah.
past, before I had my international global journey and everything else, small town kid from Iowa be like, oh, I'm not wearing that color. That's for girls, all these old stereotypes. But I
Yeah.
wear this like pink shirt this morning for our podcast. And it's like, oh, that's me. I embody that. And I'm courageous enough to go beyond what prior breakdowns of like, oh, if I have this, then I'm going to look weird or people are going to judge me. And, there's this human psyche of like, I always got to
Mhm.
look good and avoid looking bad at all costs. And so I love that this process can truly have a transformative power in how people even perceive themselves and maybe like catch themselves in, oh, why do I have this limited belief system? So
Mhm.
have you had any examples of that or any um, testimonials from people?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to the inclusivity of this jewelry. I'll meet people who say they have a more masculine identity and they're like, I don't wear jewelry because I'm more masculine. And we'll create a piece that they will never take off. For example, my
Mm.
brother, he doesn't have his ears pierced and finding like having him sit down with the trays with me and we're lining out the charms so that it's long enough to be the whole 20 inches. And you kind of get into this like, oh well, I have these geometric pieces, but I want it to be next to this organic piece. And the piece itself starts to like become so personalized that you just look at it and I was like, oh, that's Grayson. It has this pop of red, this pop of yellow. And ends up going with everything he wears. So that was,
Mhm.
um,
And it's an
but
organic substance, right? Like if he's surfing, there's like sand and water and ocean, like a timeless space and time. It feels like the the materials of the clay is like this back to basics material, right?
I feel like a lot of people have that connection to it. A lot of times they'll look at the jewelry and not be sure what the material is. And then once they feel it in their hand, it's something very familiar because not only is it's just an ancient craft that we've had as humans for, I think the oldest ceramic beads that have been found were 20,000 years old.
Mm.
So there's always been this feeling, this need to adorn yourself with whatever it is in your natural surroundings that it is you can find and create from just mud something beautiful that you're connected to and it becomes a part of your being. So,
Mm. I love that.
yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. And it's so great that your brother gets to enjoy and feel the energy. And as you said, just feel this like a good luck charm, like, hey, this is a part of me now, which I love because it's such an organic um, opportunity to feel connected to that. Fantastic. All right. So speaking of Mother Ocean and the earth and the clay and ancient wisdom, question 4 brings in this conversation that our species is more and more aware about, which is sustainability and regeneration, right? Like here at Embody Costa Rica, our wellness and retreat center, like we're growing enough bananas and plantains that we're sharing it with our community, right? There's sustainability to have us get what we need. So we're not taking anything away. But then there's like this other concept of regeneration where like, hey, let's even create more abundance for the planet. So sustainability is a part of your brand. Can you share why that's important to you and how you incorporate it into your work?
Oh, of course. So it's the number one value. Sustainability is definitely the driving force behind why I decided to start making ceramic jewelry. I actually have like an unofficial slogan, and it's "Where clay, it's abundant." And I came up with that because um, it literally is abundant. You dig in your yard and you find clay, and through the alchemy of fire, earth and fire, and obviously water and air that is all in there, it becomes this vitrified, long lasting thing. Sorry, wind. It becomes this vitrified, long lasting object that even in the event that you break it and lose it and it gets lost into the earth again, if it got broken down, it would just become sand in a way. A lot of times, pottery that's been broken can get smashed back down and put back into ceramics as like a grog or another component. It's always going to be vitrified and more solidified. That's what vitrification is. It's becoming permanently solid and like non-porous to water. But even in the event that a piece was broken down into the environment, it won't leach toxic chemicals or anything. It won't harm the environment or harm any creatures in the environment. And it also just becomes kind of an artifact. If you go to the Museum of Natural History in New York, there's an entire room dedicated to ceramic jewelry, and it's almost like a little glimpse into the culture of the time or of the life of an individual, which is even more personal and interesting to me to think about. As the material itself is a sustainable material, and the way in which it consumes energy in the production is also very low consumption and low waste, if not zero. The only real waste in the product is the cardboard shipping box it comes in, and even that we use 100% recycled materials, and it's 100% recyclable and compostable. And that's been my main goal, is to find ways to create something that you can feel good about wearing, knowing that the material itself is abundant and non-harmful. So there's that aspect of it.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And it's paying it forward. Um, it's like you're planting the tree that won't provide shade for you, but for future generations. It's that whole allow it to absorb into the earth, and it's non-toxic, and it's very important, absolutely, for that to be, yeah, your ethos. That's fantastic that that's a part of it. And I have a deep intuition of when people walk into your studio or when they come to your workshop at the Sun Valley Joy Festival, there's almost going to be this like back to basics feeling of like they're working with organic materials, and then they can have parts of themselves and their creative expression that show up, because it's like, ooh, I didn't even know that I could do this. Because you're right, in the old days it was just silver, gold, and like basic metal as jewelry. But as you said, like 20,000 years ago is when they found the first jewelry that people use. Yeah, and we're here to adorn ourselves and to enjoy the earth. And I feel like the more that sustainability is the baseline of what you do, then there's this deeper depth to Shay by Clay, right? Clay by Shay. Both work. Because now you get to have this creativity, but then also have handmade ceramic charms that really give this extra sense of what's possible. When it comes to companies and businesses, right? Like no one really wants to have toxic waste on their body or eating foods that are, not very life enhancing for them. So I feel there's this fresh wave of consciousness that's happening. And I love what you were sharing too about your, the journey that you've been on of like living in different parts of the world and traveling, and then recognizing that, where you're at is this hub, this headquarters, is an incubator for people as well as yourself to just come together and really practice what we preach, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. So, question number 5 is, where can people connect with you and continue their journey after the summit? So, I think this is a good opportunity to share again the flyer for the workshop. And then let's share your process video that gives a behind the scenes of what it is that you do. And before we do that, actually, I'd love for you to have a moment to just in general let people know like where you're located, what maybe your business hours are, and how people in general, how you prefer, what's your preferred method of communication so they can reach out and connect with you.
Hey, yeah. So my studio is located on Main Street in Boise, Idaho. And it's Clay by Shay is our studio is nestled into Clay Collective, which is the larger studio here where we teach classes. So we are at 2418 West Main Street, and our hours are Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 5. It varies, but those are mostly the hours in which you can come in and actually see the jewelry being made. We're all women owned and operated, so we have a small team of gals who are making charms daily. So if you ever stop in Boise, Idaho, and you want to come and see the jewelry being made, we have all the charms here. And so that's a way to see us in person. Otherwise, if you're far, you can connect with us through our Instagram, which is Clay by Shay. And we also have our website, which is claybyshay.com. And you can always send us an email through the website, or send us a DM on our Instagram, and we'll respond either way.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's great that you have the location, you have the virtual way, people can order online and see more about, what you're offering. And so, yeah, I definitely, this day and age as well, I think it's awesome that people can support you and a woman-owned business, and to really drop in and connect with the community. And really, I feel that there's a lot of networking that can be done virtually. And then, of course, being in person at events like the Sun Valley Joy Summit. Are you tending to do more like in-person craft fairs or locations? Is there any a place that you're going to be this summer or anytime recent that you'd like to share?
Oh, well, we actually don't really have a lot of dates on the tour this
Mm-hmm.
year. We just opened a new location. So I'm kind of focused on our home studio. But yeah, the next event that we'll be doing is the Sun Valley Joy Summit
Wonderful.
for
Okay.
now. But that
Of
changes.
course.
That changes. It always fills up last minute.
Excellent. Yeah. And as you mentioned, Clay by Shay is your Instagram. So if you follow her here, there's a link tree as well where people, I'm sure, can learn more about what you're offering. There's your shop as well that people can go to. Add the cart. These are gorgeous pieces. Amazing. Okay, so let's watch your process video and learn more about Clay by Shay.
A timeless piece that will last a lifetime. Over the last few years, we've built a team of creative women, and we make everything together right here. When it comes to our materials, we use earthenware, stoneware, and porcelain clay bodies. We do not use polymer clay or plastics. The environment is our top priority. We make jewelry in small batches with a low impact, and we use non-toxic practices. There are two ways we achieve our colors. We use pigmented clay or underglaze to paint our earthenware and stoneware clay bodies. When we do this, we always leave a clean edge to add contrast to the design and to allow the natural beauty of the clay to show. This is the original way I first made Clay by Shay. Each piece was hand painted. Eventually, I wanted more color than underglaze could offer. All of the colors that you see here are stained porcelain. Each color is our own recipe, and there are limitless possibilities. Porcelain is the lightest and whitest clay body on earth, which makes it easy to stain. We also love it because it's super lightweight and strong. When we have scraps, we combine them to make marbled or composite slabs for more one-off pieces. Or we simply recycle the clay into the next batch, so there's no waste here. We also make our metal ear wires, shepherd hooks. These wires are made from 14 karat gold or sterling silver. Because we hand form them in our studio, we avoid all the plastic bags that come with pre-made hooks shipped in from factories. Our charms are made from slabs of clay or are hand formed. We use stamps for our basic shapes. For our more asymmetrical pieces, we hand draw and cut them. When people hear ceramic jewelry, they immediately think it must be heavy. We keep our pieces lightweight, under 3 grams, by using a special metal for our connection points. Instead of chunky clay pieces with drilled holes and giant jump rings, we are able to have our connection points be strong and minimal. Our jewelry is energy efficient. It takes very little space in the kiln, and our charms only need to go through the kiln one time. Once the kiln cools, we assemble and ship in 100% recycled packaging. Clay by Shay is small batch and low impact.
Thank you.
Very professional, very thorough.
Good
And I'm
friends.
sure the kiln, right? The kiln brings back memories for everyone that stopped at the kiln and, took on other creative projects like my music career and everything. But I do remember growing up as a kid and playing with the kiln and just almost like such a surprise the next day or whenever the cycle is of hours. Just like, oh, is it done? Is it ready? And I think in modern times, it's a beautiful way to do, what we don't practice often is to have patience because we're such a like instant gratification. Like, I want to take the photo now, then I want it to be HD quality, boom, and then I want it to be like posted right away, and then I want to like do this. So it's almost like the old days when you took photos, you had to wait for it to be developed and processed, sometimes up to a week, which for younger generations sounds like the most painful suffering ever. Um, it was funny when I was a school teacher, I used to tell them about how I used to work in the cornfields. And I know you're from potato fields of Idaho and I'm from the cornfields of Iowa. They'd be like, "Are there like child labor laws? What do you mean you have to work in the fields?" I'm like, "Yeah, I had a paper out too. And I had to ride my bicycle and deliver papers. And then this white stuff from the sky fell. It's called snow. And I'd like shovel snow and make like maybe $20, which was a big deal when you're a kid growing up. It was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's great that we can practice patience and have the kiln and like be like, okay, this is what I created and like sit and wait and just absorb it and enjoy it and see what the results are of all the time and energy and intention that you put into it. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. Do you have any closing words before we complete?
I'm super excited for this workshop in Sun Valley. So if you come to the Sun Valley Joy Summit, come say hi to me. I'd love to meet you or connect in any way. And thanks so much for having me on your podcast. It's been a great honor, and I hope to come visit you in Costa Rica sometime.
Please, please. Yes. And as we talked about, having your jewelry featured at our boutique shop would be such a joy here in Costa Rica. People are always looking for, organic, unique pieces. So, yeah,
Welcome.
pleasure having you here. And I will wrap it up by sharing to everyone. Go to sunvalleyjoysummit.com. Hillary Anderson is an incredible, amazing soul on a roll that has built this amazing community of, as you can see, people that are into health, crafts, generational joy, inspirational speakers, food, yoga, singing bowls, feng shui, brain health, music, dance, art, movement, well-being. And as you can see, it's the joy of being you. By bringing joy to yourself, you bring joy to others. And this is my favorite part. It's a summer camp vibe for the mind, body, and soul. So how many places on planet Earth, especially during these crunchy times in human history, do we get to be together and connect and focus on our joy? And it has been a pleasure, Shay, to be in connection with you and wishing you a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.